She was humiliated right at the gates, called the country girl in a VIP disguise, had champagne poured on her shoes, forced to stand next to the old pickup showcase like a sideshow for the rich kids. They mocked her dress, her old truck, even the way she quietly walked past their million-dollar cars like she didn't belong. What they didn't know. In a few minutes, her husband Nathaniel Stone would roll in with a battle tank, crushing every supercar they worshipped under steel treads. Clara Bloom, 5 feet 3 inches, 120 pounds, stepped onto the marble floors of the Cala Vista Auto Royale, California's cathedral of wealth, where chrome gleamed under chandeliers and supercars sat like thrones. Her crisp white linen dress and scuffed ballet flats marked her as an outsider, her VIP ticket clutched tightly, her low bun neat but unadorned. The air reeked of cologne and contempt glass walls reflecting the elite's smug faces. Clara's silence was a blade, her gaze steady, but the crowd tycoons, heiresses, influencers sensed prey and struck their laughter a venomous storm. Olivia Grant, daughter of the Grant Motors dynasty, blocked Clara at the entrance, her diamond-studded clutch glinting as she sneered for the crowd. "Oh, this is Cala Vista Auto Royale, not the county fair." "Who let the farmhand into the VIP showcase linen dress? What's that, $30 at best?" The crowd roared their champagne flutes, raised their eyes, slicing Clara's modesty. Olivia strutted closer, her heels clicking, her voice a whip. "Did you borrow that ticket from a barn sale?" A tech mogul bellowed. "She's here to clean the cars!" Sparking cheers, his gold watch flashing. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the marble floor gleaming as Clara stood unmoved, her silence a fortress. The crowd's bets climbed $1,000 she'd bolt in shame. Olivia's laughter was a tidal wave, each word a lash against Clara's dignity, the glass walls echoing their sadism. The crowd's cruelty surged as they shoved Clara toward the poverty corner, a roped-off pickup truck display where the elite corralled those without million-dollar rides for laughs. A rusted Ford F-250 sat under a spotlight, its mud-caked tires a punchline. "That's your ride, farm girl." A socialite shrieked, her gown sparkling, tossing a straw hat at Clara's feet. The crowd chanted back to the barn, their eyes glinting with malice. A tycoon waved a fake parking ticket, sneering, "Your truck's towed, peasant." The marble floor reflected their scorn. Clara's ballet flats scuffing silently, her posture unyielding. The chandeliers burned brighter, the glass walls a mirror to their arrogance, their bets spiking $1,500, she'd cry. The air thickened with their glee, each taunt a dart aimed at Clara's pride, her silence a storm they couldn't see. A pack of influencers, their outfits dripping with logos, swarmed Clara at the pickup display, their voices sharp with mockery. Farm girl at the billionaire ball, one barked, shoving her against the Ford's hood, her dress catching on rust. "Is this the new trend?" Another jeered, her pink hair flashing as she tossed a toy tractor at Clara's feet, its plastic wheels skidding. The crowd cheered, chanting "Pose, country girl," their eyes filming the farce. A boy with a gold chain sneered, "She's the queen of scrap," sparking laughter. Clara's gaze was ice, her silence a wall, but the taunts were a public flogging, each word a blade slashing her worth. The marble floor gleamed, the chandeliers glinting like knives, their bets climbing $2,000, she'd beg for mercy. The glass walls echoed with their sadism, a relentless storm. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the crowd's bets climbing $2,000, she'd beg for mercy. The crowd's malice surged as a clique of tycoons staged a mock public trial, their voices booming with performative outrage. Defendant Country Girl 1 bellowed, waving a gavel-shaped pen, his suit jacket flapping sparking cheers. "Crime defiling our prestige." Another mocked, tossing a paper summons at Clara's feet, its ink smearing. The crowd chanted, "Guilty, guilty." Their eyes blazing, each accusation a dart aimed at her presence. Olivia leaned in, her voice sharp. "You're a stain on our legacy, darling." A socialite pinned a fake criminal badge on Clara's dress, sneering. "Wear your verdict, farmhand." The marble floor gleamed, Clara's silence a steel wall, but the trial was a public execution, each charge a blade slashing her legitimacy. The chandeliers glinted like knives, the glass walls echoing their sadism, their bets climbing $2,200, she'd beg for forgiveness. A mogul shouted, Sentence her to exile, sparking laughter, his Rolex glinting. The air thickened with their cruelty. Clara's calm, a storm they couldn't see. Her gaze a vow of retribution. Olivia escalated the assault, her voice dripping venom as she uncorked a champagne bottle and poured it over Clara's ballet flats. "Oops. Sorry, darling. Pretty sure this champagne costs more than whatever rusty box you drove here." She purred, her blonde curls bouncing the crowd, howling. A socialite tossed a coin at Clara's feet, sneering, "Buy new shoes, farmhand." The marble floor shimmered with spilled liquid. Clara's dress clinging to her legs, her silence a steel vow. Olivia leaned in her breath, hot with malice. "You're a walking stain on our brand," the crowd chanted. "Wash it off." Their eyes blazing, their bets spiking $2,500 she'd flee. The chandeliers cast a cruel glow, the glass walls reflecting their laughter. Each drop a wound to Clara's dignity, her calm, a fire they couldn't fathom. The chandeliers cast a cruel glow, the glass walls reflecting their laughter. Each drop a wound to Clara's dignity, her calm, a fire they couldn't fathom. A group of influencers orchestrated a cruel, begging ritual, forcing Clara to stand in a spotlight as they mocked her for acceptance. "Kneel and plead," Farm Girl 1 shouted, tossing a velvet cushion at her feet, sparking cheers. "Beg for our mercy." Another jeered, waving a fake VIP pass, her nails gleaming. The crowd chanted "Bobo," their eyes filming each demand, a dart aimed at her spirit. Lucas grinned, his voice sharp. "Crawl for our pity, sweetheart." A socialite tossed a coin at Clara's flat, sneering, "Earn your place, peasant." The marble floor shimmered. Clara's silence a fortress, but the ritual was a public scourging, each taunt a blade slashing her pride. The chandeliers burned brighter, the glass walls reflecting their laughter, their bet spiking $2,700 she'd break under the shame. The air was thick with their sadism, Clara's posture unyielding, her gaze, a fire they couldn't fathom, her resolve a storm brewing beneath the surface. Lucas Sterling, heir to the Sterling family's McLaren collection, strutted toward Clara, his tailored suit crisp, his Bugatti Chiron gleaming behind him. Tragic. She thinks she's making a statement standing next to a Bugatti. He mocked, his grin a slash of arrogance. The crowd roared, their eyes zooming in on Clara's stained dress. Lucas dangled his car keys, daring her to sit inside, his voice sharp. "Go on, sweetheart. Security's waiting to drag you out." Clara refused, her silence a blade, but Lucas wasn't done. He uncapped his latte and dumped it down her front, the liquid soaking her linen dress, dripping onto the marble. "You don't deserve to breathe on this leather," he spat, sparking cheers. The crowd chanted made, their eyes burning, their bets climbing $3,000 she'd collapse. The chandeliers glinted, Clara's posture unyielding, the humiliation of public execution. The chandeliers glinted, Clara's posture unyielding, the humiliation of public execution. The crowd's venom peaked as Mr. Parker seized the mic for a fake lost guest announcement, his voice dripping with condescension. "Attention elite. We've lost a country girl in our VIP showcase," he boomed, sparking laughter, his silver hair gleaming. "Last seen in a $30 dress," he mocked, pointing at Clara, the crowd chanting "Lost, lost." A socialite tossed a dog tag at Clara's feet, sneering, "Wear it stray." Olivia clapped, her voice sharp. "You're a nobody here, darling." The marble floor gleamed. Clara's silence a rebellion, but the announcement was a public flaying, each word a blade slashing her identity. The chandeliers glinted, the glass walls echoing their malice, their bets climbing $3,200 she'd flee in disgrace. A tycoon shouted, "Find her a barn," sparking cheers, his cigar smoke curling. The air thickened with their cruelty. Clara's calm, a vow, her gaze a storm they couldn't see. The chandeliers glinted, the glass walls echoing their malice, their bets climbing $3,200 she'd flee in disgrace. The crowd's sadism surged as a group of tycoons staged a mock guest registry purge, their voices loud with performative disdain as they waved a leather-bound book. "Erase the farm girl's name," one bellowed, slashing a red pen across a page, his cufflinks glinting, sparking cheers. "She's no VIP," another mocked, tossing a torn ticket stub at Clara's feet, its edges fraying. The crowd chanted, "Wipe her out." their eyes blazing, each stroke a dart aimed at her legitimacy. Olivia leaned in, her voice sharp. "You're a ghost here, darling." A socialite pinned a voided stamp on Clara's dress, sneering. "You're nothing, peasant!" The marble floor gleamed, Clara's silence a steel vow, but the purge was a public execution, each word a blade slashing her presence. The chandeliers burned brighter, the glass walls echoing their malice, their bets climbing $3,400. She'd collapse in shame. A mogul shouted, "She's erased forever," sparking laughter, his gold ring flashing. The air thickened with their cruelty. Clara's calm, a storm they couldn't see her gaze, a fire they couldn't fathom. The crowd's sadism peaked as a group of tycoons staged a mock dress code violation. Their voices booming with performative outrage. "She's defiling our showcase." One bellowed, waving a fake citation, his cufflinks flashing, sparking laughter. "Linen's a crime here," another mocked, tossing a paper "fine" at Clara's feet, its ink smearing. The crowd chanted, "Strip her pass," their eyes filming each taunt a dart aimed at her presence. A socialite pinned a non-compliant badge on Clara's dress, sneering, "Wear your shame, peasant." Lucas clapped, his voice sharp. "You're a walking violation farm girl." The marble floor gleamed, Clara's silence a rebellion, but the stunt was a public crucifixion, each word a blade slashing her legitimacy. The chandeliers burned brighter, the glass walls echoing malice, their bets spiking $3,500 she'd be escorted out. The chandeliers burned brighter, the glass walls echoing malice, their bets spiking $3,500 she'd be escorted out. A clique of socialites staged a mock servant audition, their voices dripping with elitist disdain as they circled Clara with fake job props. "Apply to serve us, farm girl," one shrieked, waving a feather duster, her gown sparking cheers. "Polish our cars!" Another mocked, tossing a rag at her feet, its grease smearing. The crowd chanted, "Serve, serve!" their eyes blazing, each taunt a dart aimed at her status. Lucas leaned in, his voice sharp, "You're born to scrub, sweetheart." A mogul tossed a tray at Clara's flats, sneering, "Carry our drinks, peasant." The marble floor reflected their scorn, Clara's silence a steel vow, but the audition was a public crucifixion, each word a blade slashing her worth. The chandeliers burned brighter, the glass walls echoing their laughter, their bets spiking $3,800 she'd collapse under the shame. The air was thick with their sadism. Clara's posture unyielding, her gaze a fire they couldn't fathom. The chandeliers burned brighter, the glass walls echoing their laughter, their bets spiking $3,800 she'd collapse under the shame. A clique of influencers orchestrated a vicious mock tribute, their voices dripping with scorn as they presented Clara with a fake plaque for most unwelcome guest. "Honor the farm girl's failure," one shouted, waving a plastic award, sparking laughter. "For ruining our vibe," another jeered, tossing a paper ribbon at her feet, its ink smearing. The crowd chanted, "Shame, shame," their eyes filming each taunt a dart aimed at her worth. Lucas grinned, his voice sharp, "You're our laughingstock, sweetheart." A socialite tossed a wilted flower at Clara's flats, sneering, "Accept your tribute, bunny." The marble floor reflected their sadism. Clara's silence a rebellion, but the tribute was a public flaying, each word a blade slashing her dignity. The chandeliers glinted, the glass walls echoing their laughter, their bets spiking $4,000 she'd break under the mockery. The air was thick with their malice. Clara's posture unyielding, her gaze a vow of retribution. The marble floor reflected their sadism, the chandeliers glinting like knives. The crowd's cruelty surged as influencers staged a staged fashion penalty, their voices loud with scorn as they waved a fake rulebook at Clara. "Penalty, worst dressed intruder." One shouted, tossing a paper fine at her feet, sparking laughter. "Linen's a disgrace," another mocked, kicking dust at her flats, her nails gleaming. The crowd chanted, "Fine, her," their eyes filming each taunt a dart aimed at her appearance. Olivia grinned, her voice sharp. "You're a fashion felony, darling." A socialite tossed a burlap sash at Clara's feet, sneering, "Wear your shame, farmhand." The marble floor gleamed, Clara's silence a rebellion, but the penalty was a public flaying, each word a blade slashing her beauty. The chandeliers glinted, the glass walls echoing their malice, their bets climbing $4,200 she'd break under the mockery. The air thickened with their sadism, Clara's calm a storm, they couldn't see her gaze, a vow of retribution, Mr. Parker, the event chairman, delivered the final blow, his silver hair gleaming as he approached Clara, his tailored suit a symbol of authority. "Please don't ruin the brand's image, miss," he said, his smile a veneer of civility. "Unless you brought a vehicle worthy of the air here. Which, looking at you, I doubt you even know how to drive stick." The crowd erupted, their eyes filming their laughter, a chorus of contempt. "Stick to your tractor," a socialite shouted, waving her clutch. Parker gestured to security, his voice sharp, "Remove her if she lingers." The crowd chanted, out, their bets spiking $4,000 she'd be dragged away. Clara's silence was a storm cloud, her dress soaked her flats, scuffed, but Parker's words were a public lynching, each syllable a lash against her dignity. The marble floor reflected their sadism, the chandeliers glinting like knives. The crowd's cruelty climaxed as a group of influencers staged a trespasser parade, forcing Clara through a gauntlet of jeers. March Farm Girl 1 shrieked, tossing a fake VIP pass at her feet, its plastic cracking. You snuck in, another mocked, shoving her toward security, sparking cheers. The crowd chanted, "Trespasser, trespasser," their eyes blazing, each taunt a dart aimed at her right to exist. Olivia clapped, her voice sharp. "Parade her out, darling!" A tycoon tossed a paper handcuff at Clara's flats, sneering, "Cuff the intruder." The marble floor gleamed. Clara's silence a vow, but the parade was a public scourging, each step a wound to her pride. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the glass walls echoing their malice, their bets spiking $4,500 she'd break. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the glass walls echoing their malice, their bets spiking $4,500 she'd break. The crowd's sadism climaxed as tycoons led a vicious expulsion chant, their voices synchronized in a cruel rhythm to banish Clara. Out farm girl, they sang, clapping in unison, their suits swaying, sparking cheers. "You're no match for Chrome," a socialite added, waving her clutch, her diamonds flashing. The crowd's eyes blazed, chanting, "Expel the bunny," each syllable a dart aimed at her existence. Mr. Parker's mic boomed, "Our chance, the finale, folks." Lucas tossed a paper eviction notice at Clara's feet, sneering, "Leave our world, peasant." The marble floor echoed with malice. Clara's silence a shield, but the chant was a public flogging, each word a lash against her resolve. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the glass walls trembling their bets, spiking $4,800 she'd vanish in disgrace. The air was thick with their cruelty, Clara's posture unyielding, her gaze a fire they couldn't fathom. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the glass walls trembling their bets, spiking $4,800 she'd vanish in disgrace. The crowd's venom peaked as Mr. Parker triggered a fake intruder alert, his voice booming through the expo's speakers with theatrical urgency. "Alert unidentified farm girl detected," he declared, pointing at Clara, his silver hair gleaming, sparking cheers. "She's no guest of ours," he mocked the crowd, chanting, "Intruder, intruder!" A socialite tossed a red wristband at Clara's feet, sneering, "Mark the outsider." Olivia clapped, her voice sharp. "You're a thief of our air, darling." The marble floor echoed with malice. Clara's silence a shield, but the alert was a public scourging, each word a lash against her right to exist. The chandeliers cast a mocking glow, the glass walls trembling their bets, spiking $4,900 she'd flee in disgrace. A tycoon shouted, "Lock her out," sparking laughter, his cigar smoke curling. The air thickened with their sadism. Clara's calm a storm, they couldn't see, her gaze a fire they couldn't fathom. Clara walked away, her soaked dress clinging to her skin, her ballet flats silent on the marble, her silence a promise of retribution. The crowd's jeers followed their laughter, a tidal wave of scorn. "Run back to your farm," Olivia shouted, her voice a whip. Lucas tossed a napkin at her back, sneering, "Wipe up, sweetheart." The chandeliers burned brighter, the expo's air thick with their arrogance, their bets a monument to their hubris, $5,000 she'd never return. Clara's eyes narrowed. Her posture coiled, her silence now, a fuse burning down. The marble floor reflected their sadism. The glass walls a mirror to their cruelty. But Clara's resolve was a fire the elite couldn't fathom. The expo floor, once their stage, was about to become her battlefield. 30 minutes later, the ground shook a deafening roar, shattering the Expo's polished chaos, an M1 Abrams MBT commercial edition. 70 tons of matte black steel rolled through the main hall, its tracks grinding marble to dust the Stone Industries defense insignia gleaming under chandeliers. The tank, worth more than the entire supercar lineup, silenced the crowd, their champagne flutes trembling. The hatch opened, and Nathaniel Stone, billionaire CEO of Stone Industries America's War Machine King, stepped out his black suit, sharp, his eyes colder than steel. "Apologies for the delay," he said, his voice ablade. "Sweetheart, you told me to bring a car. I figured you deserved a slightly bigger entrance." The crowd froze, their jaws slack as Clara's gaze met his, her silence now a crown. The chandeliers dimmed the glass walls, trembling their bets dust. Nathaniel climbed back into the tank, his movements precise, and drove over Lucas's Bugatti Chiron, the $3 million supercar, flattening into twisted metal, its carbon fiber cracking like bones. Lucas screamed, his face red, collapsing to his knees as the crowd gasped, their eyes wide. Nathaniel pivoted the tank, its turret swiveling, and pinned Olivia's Aston Martin against the exhibition wall, its sleek frame buckling, its paint peeling like a defeated flag. Olivia's shriek pierced the air, her empire crumbling. "My machine, my property, my rules," Nathaniel declared, waving off their protests, his voice ice. The marble floor cracked under the tank's weight, the chandeliers flickering as military personnel in the crowd saluted, their hands snapping to their brows. The glass walls reflected their disgrace, the audience's satisfaction soaring the destruction, a verdict on their arrogance. The glass walls reflected their disgrace, the audience's satisfaction soaring the destruction, a verdict on their arrogance. Nathaniel's hologram shifted, announcing Stone Industries' hostile takeover of Grant Motors and Sterling Estates, his voice a hammer, crushing their empires. "Your companies are mine," he declared, the screen-flashing merger contracts, each signature a death knell. The crowd gasped, their eyes wide, as Olivia's legacy crumbled, her family's stock worthless. Lucas's face turned gray, his inheritance seized his pride dust. A veteran muttered, "He's a titan, not a CEO," his voice reverent. The marble floor cracked further, the chandeliers flickering as Clara's dress gleamed, a symbol of untouchable power. Military security flanked Nathaniel, their rifles steady, their presence a verdict. The glass walls bowed, the audience's satisfaction soaring, the takeover a crown for Clara, her authority a scar on the elite's arrogance. Olivia's sobs echoed, her empire a memory, as Lucas begged his dynasty dust. The Expo shook Nathaniel's power, a fire that consumed their lies. The audience's satisfaction soared, the takeover a crown for Clara, her authority a scar on the elite's arrogance. A colossal steel monument engraved with the Stone Industries insignia rose at the Expo's center, its plaque reading, "For the Unconquered." The crowd cheered, their eyes filming, as Nathaniel unveiled it. His voice, a thunderbolt. "This is Clara's ground." The socialite's absence was a verdict, their empire's dust, as Olivia's legacy crumbled, her pride shattered. Lucas's sobs echoed, his wealth a memory, as Parker's name faded, his role erased. The marble floor reflected the monument's glow, Clara's dress a beacon, her power a fire that cleansed the Expo. Military security flanked the structure, their rifles steady, their presence a vow. The chandeliers dimmed the glass walls, trembling. The audience's satisfaction soaring the monument, a testament to Clara's legend, a scar on the elite's pride that would never fade. A veteran shouted, "Stone's eternal," his voice echoing the Expo, forever hers. Clara climbed atop the tank's turret, her stained dress a banner, her voice booming through the onboard PA system, "I am Clara Stone. I don't need a supercar to make a statement, because I sleep next to the man who owns machines that can crush your entire market under a single steel tread. As of today, Calavista Auto Royale is owned by Stone Industries Defense. Anyone wishing to showcase here will now need my personal permission." The crowd gasped, the name a thunderbolt, as Olivia's face crumpled, her legacy dust. Lucas's knees buckled, his wealth a memory, as Parker's jaw dropped, his authority erased. Military security stormed the hall, their boots echoing, flanking Clara like a queen. The chandeliers burned brighter, her silence now worshipped the tank, a flame that cleansed the Expo. The chandeliers burned brighter, her silence now worshipped the tank, a flame that cleansed the Expo. A ceremonial tank salute erupted as Stone Industries personnel rolled additional M1 Abrams tanks onto the expo floor, their tracks grinding in unison, a display of Nathaniel's might. For Stone. A commander shouted, his voice echoing as the tanks circled the crushed Bugatti, their turrets gleaming. The crowd cheered, their eyes filming, as veterans saluted, their hands steady, declaring Nathaniel's law. The socialites' faces paled, their champagne spilled as Lucas's sobs grew, his dynasty dust. Olivia's empire was a ruin, her pride shattered as Parker's role faded, his mic forgotten. The marble floor shook, the glass walls trembling, Clara's tank leading the salute, a symbol of unyielding authority. The chandeliers burned brighter, Nathaniel's power a flame that cleansed the expo, the audience's satisfaction cresting the salute, a monument to Clara's triumph, a wound to the elite's pride that would never fade. The fallout was merciless. Nathaniel's hologram screen flashed, exposing the elite's debts to Stone Industries, $60 million for Grant Motors, $40 million for Sterling Estates. Olivia's family stock plummeted, their social standing banned from luxury circles. Lucas's inheritance was seized, his dynasty forced into a fire sale of assets, cars, yachts, pride. Parker's chairman title was stripped, his name a public scar. The expo floor transformed, supercar displays replaced by Stone Industries training gear for children, the marble scarred by tank tracks. Clara refused every apology, her name a blade in the underground. The crowd's eyes filmed her triumph, their earlier scorn, now awe as veterans chanted "Stone, Stone." The chandeliers dimmed the glass walls, a fortress for Clara's vision, her power a scar that bound the expo to her forever. The chandeliers dimmed the glass walls, a fortress for Clara's vision, her power a scar that bound the expo to her forever. A group of disabled children invited by Stone Industries entered the expo, their voices a vow to honor Clara's vision. "We'll drive for Stone," a girl shouted, her wheelchair gleaming, sparking cheers. The crowd's eyes filmed their whispers, reverent, as the children pledged to train in the academy, their dreams a new anthem. The socialites' absence was a verdict, their legacy erased, as Lucas's sobs echoed his wealth dust. Olivia's empire was a ruin, her pride shattered as Parker's name faded, his role cursed. The marble floor reflected the children's resolve. Clara's dress, a beacon. Her power, a fire that cleansed the expo. The chandeliers dimmed the glass walls, a fortress. The audience's satisfaction soaring the vow, a testament to Clara's legacy, a scar on the elite's pride that would never heal. The elite avoided Calavista for years, its marble a reminder of their hubris. Olivia's Aston Martin and Lucas's Bugatti lay in a scrapyard, their defeat a myth in car clubs. In private penthouses, the elite whispered, Clara Stone, the plain woman who crushed a dynasty with her husband's tank. The expo became a Stone Industries academy for disabled children, their laughter a new anthem, the tank's tracks a legend that outlived the chandelier's glow. A retired general muttered, "She's no farm girl, she's a warlord's queen." The crowd's whispers spread, Clara's name a mantra, never mock the silent one. The crowd's whispers spread, Clara's name a mantra, never mock the silent one. A group of veterans knelt, their hands tracing the tank tracks, their voices a battlefield oath to Clara's legacy. "We fight for Stone," a major swore, his medals glinting, sparking cheers. The oath spread, the expo shaking as fighters joined in their eyes, filming a warrior's coronation. The socialites shrank back, their legacy erased as Olivia's empire crumbled, her pride dust. Lucas's tears fell, his Bugatti a ruin as Parker's name was spat, his career over. The marble floor cracked further, the glass walls bowing Clara's dress, a crown her power, a fire that burned eternal. The chandeliers flickered, Nathaniel's tank a shrine. The audience's satisfaction cresting the oath, a monument to Clara's legend, a wound to the elite's pride that would never fade. A sergeant shouted, "She's our queen," his voice a verdict on their disgrace, the expo forever hers. The audience's satisfaction cresting the oath, a monument to Clara's legend, a wound to the elite's pride that would never fade. Nathaniel ordered a ceremonial expulsion, military security escorting the remaining elite from the expo, their boots echoing as they dragged Olivia Lucas and their allies out. "No place for snakes," Nathaniel declared, his voice iced the crowd cheering as the socialites' heels scraped the marble. Olivia's face crumpled, her empire a ruin as Lucas begged his pride dust. Parker's title was spat his career over as the crowd chanted, "Stone, Stone." The marble floor cracked further, the glass walls bowing Clara's dress, a crown, her power, a fire that burned eternal. The chandeliers flickered Nathaniel's tank, a shrine, the audience's satisfaction cresting the expulsion, a monument to Clara's triumph, a wound to the elite's pride that would never fade. A child shouted, "They're gone," her voice, a verdict, the expo cleansed forever. The marble floor reflected her shadow, her silence, a crown, her husband's tank, her scepter, her victory, a fire that burned eternal. A global broadcast aired from the expo, Nathaniel's tank crushing, replayed on every major network, captioned "Stone's Justice." The elite's shame went viral, their names trending as synonyms for hubris, their empires mocked in every headline. The crowd's eyes looped the footage, their cheers a final salute as Olivia's stock crashed her legacy dust. Lucas's family fled their assets, seized their pride, a memory as Parker's career ended, his name erased. The marble floor reflected the broadcast's glow, Clara's dress a beacon, her power, a scar that bound the expo to her forever. The chandeliers dimmed the glass walls, trembling. The audience's satisfaction soaring, the broadcast a testament to Clara's legend, a wound to the elite's pride that would never heal. A veteran hissed, "They mocked a warlord's queen," his voice a warning in every club. A mythic retelling of Clara's triumph spread her tank's roar, a legend that outlived the expo's glitz. She came in silence, left in thunder. A veteran whispered, his voice thick with awe, sparking cheers. The crowd's eyes filmed the tale, their whispers reverent as the story grew, its power a warning in every ring. The socialite's absence was a verdict, their empire's dust, as Olivia's legacy crumbled, her pride shattered. Lucas's family vanished, their assets gone as Parker's name faded, his role erased. The marble floor reflected the myth's glow, Clara's dress a beacon, her power, a scar that bound the expo to her forever. The chandeliers dimmed Nathaniel's tank, a shrine, the audience's satisfaction, cresting the myth, a monument to Clara's triumph, a wound to the elite's pride that would never fade. A child shouted Stone's queen, her voice echoing the expo, hers eternal. She didn't need to scream. She didn't need to break their bones. She left them suffocating in the wreckage of their egos and the steel jaws of a battle tank. If you love to see the plain woman crush the castle with a tank-like, share. Comment your favorite demolition moment, and subscribe for more stories where the invisible girl doesn't knock politely. She drives through the gates.